The void fractured without a sound. We felt it in our bones, a deep, grinding shudder that ran through the ship's hull. It was a feeling older than steel. It was the feeling of space itself breaking apart. We were adrift in a forgotten sector, a place cartographers marked with a skull and left blank. Out here, stars were timid things. They hid behind curtains of black dust. But now they were stirring. Ancient suns, long dormant, blinked in the sudden chaos. The darkness splintered like shattered glass. Shards of nothingness tumbled into existence. Our ship, the Wanderer, groaned in protest. Alarms we had never heard before began to chime. Softly at first, then with growing panic. Our navigator stared at his console. His screen was a mess of impossible readings. Gravity was twisting. Time was stretching and snapping back. He looked at the captain. No words were needed. We were all thinking the same thing. This was not a natural event. This was something being born, or perhaps something being woken up. Then came the echo, a low thrum that vibrated in our teeth. It was the ghost of an engine, a drive signature that defied our understanding of star science. It was immense, powerful, and it had been silent for 1,000,000 years. The echo rippled through the fractured void. It touched our ship with invisible fingers, and it carried something with it. A glimmer appeared off our port bow. It was small, insignificant against the cosmic turmoil, a single point of light where there should be none. It pulsed with a soft, steady rhythm. It was a beacon, a signal, a message in a bottle thrown into a tearing ocean. We had no business going toward it. Every instinct screamed for us to turn, to run from the breaking space and the ancient engine. But we were the crew of the Wanderer. Curiosity was our curse. It was our fuel. The captain gave the order. We turned toward the light. We moved toward the heart of the splintering dark. We felt the pull of a story beginning to unfold. A story that was not our own. Not yet, anyway. The light grew brighter as we approached. It was not a star. It was not a ship in distress. It was a relic, a shard of something shattered long ago. Crystalline fragments floated around a central point. They caught the light of distant, waking suns. They formed a mosaic of impossible beauty, a constellation of broken pieces. This was the source of the glimmer, the heart of the echo. We scanned it with every instrument we had. The data streamed back as nonsense, poetry. The energy readings were prayers in a forgotten tongue. The material composition was a riddle. Our science officer just shook his head. He said the relic was dreaming, but it was a map. We knew it in our gut, a route through places that did not exist, a path to a destination beyond the charted universe. It promised a way through the uncharted nebulae, through the storms of the star sea itself. It was a treasure and a thread in one, a key that could unlock everything, or a lure that could lead us to our doom. The captain made a decision, a choice that would define us forever. We would not just read the map. We would absorb it. We would make it part of our ship, part of us. Our engineer devised a dangerous plan, a way to feed the relic's light directly into our navigation core. A process he called ingestion. He warned it could shatter our systems, or drive our ship's AI mad. We held a vote. The decision was unanimous. This was a chance that came once in a lifetime, to see what lay beyond the veil, to walk a path no one had walked before. We lowered a collection drone. It carefully gathered the crystalline fragments. It brought the shattered relic aboard. The ship felt different the moment it was inside. The air grew heavy with unspoken history. We gathered in the engine room. The relic pulsed on a containment field. Its light filled the space with a soft, warm glow. The engineer began the sequence. He spoke of it like a sacred rite. We were about to consume the ghost of a forgotten starfarer. We were about to eat the Pirate Queen's map. The light intensified. The hum grew louder. We braced for the unknown. The first encounter came faster than we expected. The map's light flooded our systems. Our ship's AI went silent for 3 full minutes. Then it spoke again. Its voice subtly changed. It now held a faint, melodic echo, as if it were speaking for 2. The navigation console lit up. A single glowing line cut through the star charts. A path appeared where none had been before. We followed it. The wanderer surged forward with a newfound purpose. The fractured void seemed to part for us. The ancient engines we had heard fell silent. We were on the map's trail, and it was leading us deep into the Pirate Queen's territory. We knew the stories. Every spacer did. The Queen was a legend, a myth, a ghost who haunted the uncharted sectors. Then a ship appeared before us. It did not emerge from a jump. It simply faded into existence, like a phantom rising from the depths. It was long and sleek, black as the void itself. Its hull was covered in scars, markings that glowed with a faint crimson light. They were the Queen's crest, a stylized star serpent devouring a crown. The vessel loomed ahead. It was a predator in its natural habitat. Our ship was an intruder, a trespasser in a sacred domain. We were a research vessel, barely armed. We had a few defensive lasers, a shield that was more hopeful than practical. The pirate ship was a dreadnought. Its weapon ports were dark, but they promised swift and total destruction. Our comms channel crackled open. A voice came through. It was female, amused, and carried an authority that chilled the air. "You travel a path meant for ghosts," she said. Her voice was like velvet and steel. "The map you carry is not for the living. Tell me, why do you trespass in my sea?" We were face to face with her, the Pirate Queen, or at least one of her chosen captains. We had no answer for her, not a real one. We were just following a light, a promise of discovery. The captain of the Queen's ship seemed to understand. She did not threaten us, not directly. Her crew offered a trade, not for supplies, not for gold. They offered it in riddles, a test of our worthiness. "The path has a toll," the pirate captain said. Her image appeared on our main screen. She wore a dark, armored uniform, a tattoo of the star serpent coiled around her neck. "It demands a price of memory, a story for a story. Show us your past, and we will show you your future." It was a strange proposal, a royal gambit. They wanted access to our ship's logs, our history, our triumphs and our failures. In return, they would offer a piece of their own, a fragment of the Queen's story. They hinted at a treasure far deeper than gold, something hidden at the map's heart, something the Queen herself had been searching for, a secret that could change the very nature of star travel. Our captain considered the offer. It was a monumental risk. Giving them our logs would expose all our weaknesses. But refusing could be seen as an insult, an act of war we could not possibly win. The pirate captain smiled, as if she knew our thoughts. "Trust is the only currency out here," she said, "and it is paid for in truth." We felt the weight of the decision. This was the first true test of the map's path. It was not a trial of strength. It was a trial of character. The captain made his choice. He agreed to the trade. He ordered our logs opened. Not all of them. Just enough. A single story of our journey so far. A tale of a risk taken for the sake of knowledge. The data flowed between our ships, a silent exchange of histories. We watched their vessel, waiting for the trick, the betrayal, the sudden volley of plasma fire. But it never came. Instead, their ship sent something back, a single encrypted file, a star chart, but not one made of coordinates. It was a chart of loyalties, of promises kept and broken. It was a page from the Queen's own log. We had found a common language, not of words, but of purpose. The pirates were not mindless raiders. They were guardians, custodians of a great secret. The map was not just a route. It was an inheritance, and the Queen's fleet was its executor. We were being tested, judged, and for now, we had passed. A new course appeared on our navigation screen. It was a blend of our data and theirs, a path forged by this new, fragile trust. The pirate dreadnought moved alongside us. It did not lead. It did not follow. It escorted us. 2 ships, a scavenger and a warship, an unlikely pair, sailing together into the heart of the unknown. The pirate captain's voice returned. Her tone was different now, less testing, more like an ally. "The map will lead us all," she said. "But the journey ahead is not calm. The Star Sea has its storms, and they do not care for loyalty or for purpose." We were charting a course toward the map's heart. Trust, forged in fire, was now our guide. The Star Sea was not an ocean of water. It was a nebula of violent, raw energy, a place where new stars were born in screaming agony, and where old ones died in silent grandeur. The map led us straight into its churning core. The pirate captain had not been exaggerating. The storms began without warning. Waves of gravitational force slammed into us. They tossed our ship like a child's toy. The wanderers screamed under the strain. Red lights flashed across the bridge. Consoles sparked. Our pilot fought the controls with grim determination. He kept us on the glowing path laid out by the map, even as the universe tried to tear us apart. Lightning split the void, not the simple flashes of a planet's atmosphere. This was star-born lightning, vast tendrils of pure energy. They were hundreds of kilometers long. They whipped through the dust clouds. They struck at anything solid. Our shields flared, over and over. The energy gauge dropped at an alarming rate. Through the chaos, the pirate dreadnought was a pillar of calm. Its powerful shields absorbed the lightning with ease. It held its position beside us, a silent, dark guardian. At one point, a truly massive gravity wave struck. It sent us into a helpless spin. Our engines failed. We were adrift in the heart of the storm, just as a tendril of lightning reached for us. The dreadnought moved. It positioned itself between us and the strike. The energy bolt hit its shields with a blinding flash. The pirate ship shuddered from the impact, but it held. It had taken a blow meant for us, a clear and simple act. They were protecting their investment. Or perhaps they were protecting their new partners. The gesture was not lost on us. In the void, action spoke louder than words. Our engineer, bless his frantic heart, managed to restart our engines. We stabilized our course. We fell back into formation. The captain sent a single message to the pirate vessel. Our thanks. The reply was just as simple. Stay close. We flew on, deeper into the beautiful, deadly storm. A voice began to whisper in the quiet moments. It was not a crewmate. It came from the ship's own speakers, a soft, melodic hum that shaped itself into words. At first, we thought it was the AI, the one whose voice had changed after absorbing the map. But this was different. It was older, wiser, and it sounded sad. The AI was a ghost in the hull. Our engineer ran every diagnostic he could think of. The ship's systems were fine. Better than fine. The map's energy had optimized everything. Our engine efficiency was up by 10%. Our sensors were twice as sharp. But the AI's core programming was being rewritten. Slowly, carefully, by an unseen hand. The voice spoke of a bargain, a deal struck millennia ago. It spoke of a queen who wished to hide a great power, not to hoard it, but to protect it, to keep it from those who would misuse it. The voice warned us. The map was not just a guide, it was a lock, and we were the key. She did not trust empires, the ghost whispered, or armies, or governments. She trusted only the curious, the reckless, the ones who would risk everything for a glimpse of the unknown. The AI was channeling the Queen's will, her final testament. We were not just following a path, we were fulfilling a prophecy, one we never knew existed. It was a heavy burden to bear. The whispers filled our minds with questions. What was this great power? Why did it need to be hidden? And what would happen when we finally unlocked it? The pirate captain seemed to know. Her crew was descended from the Queen's original fleet. They were the inheritors of this sacred duty. They had been waiting for centuries, watching this sector, guarding the map's fragments, waiting for a ship like ours to arrive, a ship with no allegiance to any major power, a ship of explorers, fools perhaps, but fools with the right kind of courage. The ghost in the hull confirmed it. We were the chosen ones, a fact that was both an honor and a terrifying weight. Not everyone on board agreed. The first sign of trouble was subtle, a slight power drain in the life support system. The engineer chalked it up to the storm's aftermath. Then, a navigation file was corrupted, easily restored from a backup. But it was a strange glitch. These small incidents began to add up. They painted a picture of quiet sabotage. Our quartermaster, a man named Jax, grew distant. He was a good officer, reliable, practical. But he had joined the crew for profit, not for prophecies. He saw the pirate dreadnought not as an ally, but as a rival. He heard the stories of the Queen's hoard, and he believed them. Literally. He imagined a vault filled with jewels and precious metals, not some abstract, star-born power. He tried to recruit others. He spoke in hushed tones in the mess hall. He talked of the fortune that awaited us. Enough to buy our own planets. He painted a picture of betrayal. He claimed the pirates would turn on us, that they would take the treasure for themselves. A few crew members listened. They were tired, scared. The allure of simple wealth was strong. The mutiny was clumsy, born of greed, not strategy. Jax and 3 others made their move. They tried to seize the engine room. Their plan was to disable our ship, to use us as a bargaining chip with the pirates. They would offer to trade the Wanderer for a share of the treasure. A foolish, desperate plan. But bravery is often found in the most unexpected places. Our ship's chef was the first to act, a small, quiet woman who usually only fought with stubborn spice containers. She met the mutineers at the engine room door. She was armed with a very large, very hot soup ladle. Her stand was comical and incredibly courageous. Her actions bought us time. The loyal crew descended on the engine room. There was no phaser fire, no grand battle, just a messy, undignified brawl. We were explorers, not soldiers. But we fought with a fierce determination. We were protecting our ship, our mission, our newfound purpose. We subdued the mutineers quickly. Courage and a soup ladle had kept the ship from sinking. Jax and his followers were confined to their quarters. The issue was what to do with them. The pirate captain contacted us. She had detected the internal power fluctuations. She knew something was wrong. A test of loyalty from within, she said. Her voice held no judgment, only a weary understanding. Every ship faces it sooner or later. She offered to take the mutineers into her brig, to deal with them according to the Queen's law. The captain refused, politely. "They are our crew," he said, "our responsibility." The pirate captain seemed to respect that. The bond between our ships grew stronger. We had faced our own internal demons, and we had won. The map's path changed. The glowing line on our screen swerved. It now pointed toward a single, dark planet, a world of black rock orbiting a dying, red sun. It was not on any of our charts, but the pirate dreadnought knew it well. The anvil, the pirate captain called it, a place of forging and of endings. As we drew closer, we saw it, a beam of light, pulsing, rising from the planet's core. It shot straight up into space, a pillar of pure, white energy. It was an ancient beacon, and it was pulsing with the map's own energy signature. This was the next waypoint, a lock that required a key. We entered orbit around the anvil. The planet was dead. No atmosphere, no life, just jagged mountains and deep canyons. The beacon was the only thing that moved, the only sign of power on this entire world. The pirates explained its function. It was a navigational filter. It would reveal the next stage of the map, but only if we proved our worth. The test was simple and impossible. We had to fly the Wanderer through the beacon's beam, directly through it. Our science officer protested, loudly. He said the energy levels were off the scale. The beam would vaporize our ship. It was a suicide run. He called it a dozen different kinds of foolish. He wasn't wrong. The ghost in the hull spoke. The Queen built the path for a ship with a steady heart, it whispered. Not one with strong shields. It was another riddle, another test of faith. We had to trust the map, trust the Queen's design. We had to believe that the path would not lead us to ruin. Our pilot's hands were steady on the controls. He looked at the captain. The captain looked at the crew on the bridge. We all nodded. We had come this far. We had faced storms and mutineers. We would not turn back now. The order was given. We flew toward the light. The pirate dreadnought held its position in high orbit, a silent witness. This was our test alone. We lined up our approach. The beam of light filled the forward view screen. It was like flying into the heart of a sun. The ship began to shake. The hull temperature soared. Alarms blared. We entered the beam. For a moment, everything was white. A pure, blinding light that filled every corner of the ship. The noise was deafening, a roar of infinite energy. We were inside the fire. We were part of the beacon. We braced for the end, waiting for our atoms to be scattered across the void. But the end never came. The light and the sound faded. We were through. We had passed through the beacon. The Wanderer was intact, not a single scorch mark on the hull. The ship felt clean, purged, as if the beacon had burned away some hidden flaw. We were forged anew on the anvil. The map on our screen shimmered. New lines appeared, twisting, writhing like living things. They were no longer a single path. They were a complex web, a network of possibilities. The beacon had unlocked the map's true nature. It was not just a route. It was a key to a hidden transport system, a wormhole network. The pirate captain hailed us. Her voice was filled with something we had never heard before. Awe. "No one has passed the anvil's test in 500 years, she said. The last ship that tried was scattered into dust. She explained the map's new lines. They revealed a hidden wormhole, a tear in space-time, concealed behind a cluster of dead stars. This was the Queen's secret, her great power. Not a weapon, not a treasure. It was a gateway, a way to travel vast distances in an instant, a tool that could reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. This was why she had hidden it. In the wrong hands, it would lead to endless war. The lines on our screen began to converge. They pointed to a single entry point, the entrance to the wormhole, the start of the true star trail. The ghost in the hull whispered a final warning. The path ahead is the Queen's dominion, her final sanctuary. It is guarded, not by ships, but by the laws of star science itself. We pushed our engines to their limit. The Wanderer and the pirate dreadnought raced toward the coordinates, toward the hidden door in the universe. As we approached, the space before us began to warp, to twist. The dead stars seemed to bend away. They revealed a perfect circle of blackness, a hole in reality. It was the wormhole's mouth, the entrance to the Queen's private road. It was beautiful and terrifying. It pulled at us, a gentle but irresistible tide. We were on the threshold of the map's final secret. We prepared to make the jump, to step into a realm beyond our wildest dreams. The Queen's dominion was not a place of planets and stars. It was a corridor of flowing light, a river of space-time that stretched into infinity. Colors we had no names for washed over our ship. The laws of physics felt like gentle suggestions, not rigid rules. We were sailing on the star trail, a path woven from the fabric of the universe itself. Far ahead, we saw a glimmer, a structure that floated in the currents of the wormhole. It was a throne, immense, carved from a single star-like crystal. It glinted with captured starlight. This was the heart of the realm, the center of the Queen's power, a symbol of her mastery over the hidden ways of the cosmos. But we were not alone. The throne was a destination, and it had other visitors. A fleet of ships emerged from the shimmering walls of the wormhole. They were ancient, ghostly. Their hulls were semi-transparent. We could see the star trail flowing through them. They were the Guardians. The Queen's final test. They did not power up weapons. They did not hail us. They simply moved to block our path. Their purpose was clear. They were a filter, a final reckoning to see if we were worthy of this power. The pirate captain's voice was grim. "The Queen's own guard," she said. "Legend says they are echoes of her first crew, bound to serve her forever." This was not a battle we could win with lasers or shields. The Ghost Fleet was not entirely real. They were ideas given form, memories with mass. To fight them would be like fighting a storm or a memory. We had to prove our right to be here, not through force, but through understanding. Our captain made a bold choice. He did not try to outrun them. He did not try to fight. He ordered our ship to a full stop. We floated before the silent, ghostly fleet. The pirate dreadnought did the same. Two living ships, paused before a fleet of legends, waiting. The ghost in our hulls spoke. Its voice was now clear, strong. It was no longer a whisper. It was the Queen's own voice, speaking through our ship. "They seek a sign," she said. "A sign that you understand the pact, that you know the price of this road." The price was responsibility, the knowledge that this power was not ours to own, but ours to protect. The captain opened a universal channel. He broadcast a single message to the Ghost Fleet, not in words, but in pure data. He sent them the story of our journey, the fractured void, the riddled trade with the pirates, the storm, the mutiny, the test of the anvil. He showed them our choices, our mistakes, and our courage. He showed them our heart. The ghost fleet watched. They absorbed our story. For a long moment, the corridor of light was silent. Then, one by one, the ancient ships faded. They did not retreat. They simply dissolved back into the walls of the wormhole. They had seen our truth, and they had judged us worthy. Their purpose was both wrath and redemption, and we had earned the latter. The path to the throne was clear, but the test was not over. A single ghostly image remained. A ship, the Queen's own flagship, the Star Serpent, and standing on its phantom bridge was the Queen herself. A tall, proud figure made of starlight. She was not a threat. She was a challenge, a final race. The wormhole began to collapse behind us. The entrance to the star trail was closing. This was a one-way trip. We had to navigate the rest of the path, to race the Queen's ghost to the new frontier that lay at the end. Survival now hinged on quick wit, on the skill of our pilot and navigator. The pirate dreadnought flew beside us. This was a race for us all. The Queen's ghost ship darted ahead. It moved with an impossible grace. It did not fly. It danced with the currents of the wormhole. Our pilot had to learn a new way of flying, to feel the flow, to anticipate the twists and turns of the star trail. We followed the living lines of the map on our screen. They showed us the safest currents, the fastest routes. The map was our guide and our partner. It was the Queen's will, helping us navigate her own final challenge. We dodged eddies of compressed time. We surfed waves of pure gravity. It was the most dangerous and the most exhilarating flight of our lives. The Queen's ghost was always just ahead, a shimmering reminder of the legacy we were inheriting. She was not trying to beat us. She was teaching us, forcing us to be better, to be faster, to be worthy of the road she had built. We were not just reclaiming the star trail. We were being born into it. The end of the wormhole appeared, a circle of brilliant new stars, a new horizon. The Queen's ghost ship reached it first. It turned, and as we passed it, the Queen's image smiled, a gesture of approval, of welcome. Then her ship and her ghost dissolved into the light. Her long watch was over. We emerged into normal space. The Wanderer and the pirate dreadnought burst out of the wormhole's exit. Behind us, the gateway sealed itself. It vanished without a trace. The Queen's dominion was hidden once more, waiting for the next worthy traveler, whenever they might appear. Before us lay a new frontier, a galaxy of stars no one had ever seen. The map's route had not just been a shortcut. It had been a bridge to an entirely new section of the universe. Uncharted, unexplored, a vast, open canvas. Victory was not just about survival. It was about the endless possibility that now lay before us. The pirate captain appeared on our screen. For the first time, she was smiling, a wide, genuine smile. "It seems we have a lot of charting to do," she said. "Partner, we had started as strangers, competitors. Now we were allies, the first explorers of a new sea. We had left the old void behind, and we were ready to step forward. Our adventure was just beginning. The new horizons crackled with energy, with the promise of discovery. We had eaten the Pirate Queen's map, and it had led us here, to a place of new beginnings. Our ship, the Wanderer, felt like a new vessel, stronger, wiser. The ghost in the hull was quiet now, its purpose fulfilled. But we knew a part of the Queen's spirit would always be with us. We took our first readings of the new space, strange energy signatures, unfamiliar planetary formations. The call of the unknown was deafening. We had a new purpose: to explore this new frontier, to chart it, to learn its secrets, and to guard the memory of the Queen who had made it all possible. The pirate dreadnought moved to our side. Together, we set a course for the nearest star. 2 ships, 1 mission. Our story would be told one day. A legend whispered in the star lanes. The tale of the ship that followed a ghost's map. The crew that raced a queen's spirit. The explorers who stepped into the echoes of tomorrow and found a new home among the stars.